This last lesson in our chapter 9 on statistics is about getting MAD, or getting the mean absolute deviation from a set of numbers. This is a little bit harder than yesterday, where we were finding the median. It does require a calculator, but once you get it, it is not that hard. So let's see how this is going to work. We're actually using a problem from page 422. It's problem number 5. All right, the very first thing you need to do is draw yourself a number line. On the test, I'll have a line there for you, but you need to put a range at the bottom of the line. That's going to include every piece of data that you have. Now, before we made a dot plot, and that's fine, but I'm going to suggest that you make a circle plot, because I think it will just be a little bit easier for you to read and use. So instead of dots, I'm going to put on circles. So as you see, if you're following along in your book, the first number it gives you is 25. So instead of a dot, I'm going to draw a circle, right, where the 25 would go. Then a 28, and another 28. Not beautiful circles, but they'll do. 35, and a 20, and a 34, and a 22. Isn't this exciting? And a 30, and a 32, and a 36. Let's make sure we have 10 pieces of data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I do. All right, you notice that the first word in the acronym MAD was the word mean. You already know how to find that. So, thankfully, I'm going to let you use your calculator. And so we would take each of these pieces of data and add them together. So if we add 20 to 22 to 25 plus 28 plus 28 plus 30 plus 32 plus 34, 35, and 36, you get the number 290. Isn't that nice? I did it for you. All right, so that's my sum. Count up the numbers. There are 10 of them. I'm going to divide by 10. That's pretty easy. Better not need a calculator for that one. And so I say, yep, the mean is 29. The first thing I'm going to do is mark my mean just like I would a median. I want to know where it falls on the number line. The reason we're doing this is because we want to see how far these numbers are from the mean, how much they deviate from the mean. There is no number at 29, so all of them will deviate at least by one value, or the value of 1. If there was a 29 here, it would be a 0. It doesn't deviate. But the 28 is 1 away from 29, so what I'm going to do is put a little number 1 inside there. It's 1 away. The number 30 is also 1 away, and there's another 1 away up there. And then it's just a matter of counting how many places away from the mean is each number. And this would be a 3, and that would be a 5, and that would be a 6, and that would be a 7. Hopefully you can see why I like to use circles. You don't have to, but it keeps it a little bit easier to read. Now remember, back a couple chapters we talked about the term absolute. Absolute means it's neither negative nor positive. It's simply measuring the distance from the center. In this case, our center is not 0. Our center is 29. So 28 is 1 to the left of 29. 30 is 1 to the right. So they're both a value of 1. All right, so we got that. So let's just go back and make sure, first of all, you find the mean. No, let's go back even further. You could do that first, but it's always a better idea to start with your number line. Get all your numbers out on a number line, then find your mean. So you're going to add them up, divide by the number of occurrences, mark it. It wouldn't hurt to actually write that in so that I am sure that's my mean, not my median. Of course, I think in this case it might be the same number. Anyway, excuse me. All right, this right here is interesting and it makes sense, but we're actually looking now for one single number that represents this deviation. And so we started with the average of all the numbers. Now what we're going to do is find an average of the change of the numbers, of the deviation. So it's called mean absolute deviation. So we do exactly the same thing as we do for average or mean. We add up the number and divide. In this case, if I add 9, 7, 4, 1, 1, 1, 3, 5, 6, and 7 together, I get 44. It's still divided by 10. And of course, it's 4.4. So the average deviation away from the mean is about 4.5 spaces. So you would say it's right around, if I want to put a little arrow, it would be right around here or right around here. That's kind of my average distance away from my mean. Now, of course, this was a word problem. This had to do with money, so I would then rewrite it and say, well, that's $4.40, since all of these represented an amount of money. All right, so there you have it. That was your example using number 5 on page 422. And now you just need to do some practice tomorrow and take the test on Friday. And hope this was helpful. Bye-bye.